Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video, folks. This is the third episode in the Explorer Notes series on the island, in which I will be covering and showcasing all of the locations for all of the Explorer Notes on the island. This again is going to be a fairly long video, but I will try and cover as many as I can in 40 minutes. Right, so this is where we are right now. This is where we left off last time. Of course, this is the Cardinal Island, so we're going to go to the mainland. And over here we have the hidden lake right there. So I suppose we can start with this location right here because it is the easiest to find. And what we're looking for is the entrance right there. As you can see, there's a couple of entrances into this location, but one of them has a ruin. So of course, we're going to go to the one with the ruin because over there we will find a Explorer note. So it's right there in this corner. So this is what we found right here. This is the first note of this episode. Let me just get the glare out. This is where I am located. And the coordinates are 21.2 by 69.1. From here, if we follow the cliff to the right, we can see some trees and some rocks. After that, in between the rocks, there's a very small ruin that you can barely see, and on that ruin we have a Neura note. Alright, let me show you the coordinates and the map location. The coordinates are 22.4 by 68.4. Now we're going to get some altitude. We're going to head to that end right there where we will find the next node. We want to go to the tallest of the little ends, basically. We can see two trees right there. Right behind the last tree we have again another ruin, and this one also contains a note. This one is a Helena note, and it is the Erythroid Dossier. So this is my location on the map and the GPS coordinates, which of course are 14.2 by 69.1. Now from this location here, we are going to basically go back inland, somewhere between the green area and the snow area. If we kind of go in, we can see that there's this, I wouldn't even know what to call this geographical formation, but basically we have cliffs on either side. If we follow this around, eventually we will come to some rocks, and in between them rocks we can see a ruin. And at the bottom of that ruin, or at the base of the ruin, we have another Helena note. Okay, so this is my location on the map. And of course, I'm going to show you the GPS coordinates as well. They are 23.8 by 65.3. So this is where we are right here. I'm going to show these coordinates once more. And of course, if we get some altitude and look to our right, we can see that basically we have a snow mountain or snow biome, and we have the, I would say, forest biome. If we follow the line of these two where they kind of meet up, we can see that there's a ruin beneath a tree. Again, this is another Helena note. So quite a few nodes in the same area. We still have quite a few more to discover just in this area, so I'm going to show you all of the remaining nodes in this particular region in a bit. Coordinates are 26.3 by 62.8. Alright, so this is where we are right now. Basically, we are starting from the ruin that we were at before, and then we're going to head back outwards towards kind of Cardinal Island. Let me just kind of show you the surrounding area so you know what to expect. Actually, we're going to go towards the mountain this time, and we'll go back on ourselves in a bit. Right here, this is one of the difficult ones that I can show you. So I'm just going to use the height and of course the GPS coordinates to kind of show you where it is. There really isn't a distinct feature. So this is where we're at. Mountain over there. And then we can see the river. Basically, if we follow this empty patch of ground and then just kind of go towards the northeast, we can see this ruin. And of course, this ruin is a bit difficult. There's not really anything distinctive around it. So that's why I chose to kind of show this off. But this is the Thylacoleo Dossier from Helena. Alright, and I'm going to show you my location on the map. So I'm right here, and the GPS coordinates are 32.4 by 66.1. And of course from here we're going to head on to the next location. Once again, I'm going to show you what we're looking at, surrounding area. We're going to go back to this main island right here, or little patch of land. Here there are about 3 more notes that we can discover. You can see that from the hidden lake, there's this path that kind of goes to the river, and over there there's like a little bridge. So basically we want to kind of come through that entrance. Let me just show you from the outside what it looks like. We do have them rock formations, but this is the bridge that I'm on about, and not far in here to the right, of course, there will be a ruin with a note. But let me show you. So the ruin's right there. Yeah, so I'm going to show you basically how to approach it from the beach. So if you can see, it goes towards the hidden lake. This is one of the paths that go to the hidden lake. We can see that rock formation that we saw before that we used as a kind of guide point. So we're going to use that again. So slightly further down river from that location. If we look from the beach, we can see that there's basically an entrance. It's very well hidden between the trees. If we go down that path, we can see that there's this bridge, and if we get to this bridge, we look to the right, we then go into the trees, and then look to the right again, we see the ruin. And this contains a Helena note. This one is the Dimorphodon Dossier. A bit of a tricky one to find, even trickier to explain, to be honest, but it's not all that difficult once you know the landmarks that you're looking for. Now from this location, we're going to go basically flying to kind of show you what we're looking for. Right there, there's a very small hidden lake. So another hidden lake. This contains another ruin with another dossier. So from basically the river, we have some stones. So we see Carnal Island in the distance. So these stones right here, and if we follow between these stones, it's kind of difficult to explain from the beach. Just use the coordinates for orientation purposes, but there's also a stone right here. We kind of just go into the forest, a bit of a cliff, keep going in, and there's a small lake. Over here we have another Helena Dossier, and this one is the Castroidis Dossier, so the Beaver Dossier. I'm going to show you the map location here on the land, and of course these are my GPS coordinates. They are 25.0 by 71.8. And from here we have one final note that we're going to be looking for. But this time around we're going to do it from the beach. So we're just going to head around on the beach. And we can see that there's kind of like 3 rocks. There's a pillar ruin. And next to it, of course, there's another Rockwell note. This one's quite easy to find. It's out in the open, and so yeah, I mean, it's still easy to miss because it is surrounded by the rocks, but if you don't know it's there, yeah, you'll definitely miss it. So my location on the map, and of course the GPS coordinates, which are 25.2 by 73.2. Alright, from this location we're gonna go back inland. We're going to head towards the volcano, so to speak, or that mountain in front of us, which again, of course, has a couple of explorer notes hidden around it. We're going to start from the top, and you can see that there's crystal, there's obsidian, there's some metal, but there's also an explorer note. This one is, of course, the Otter note. I meant Otter Dossier. So this is where it's located. Let's get the glare out. Basically, I'm on this mountain right here on the map. And the GPS coordinates are 35.7 by 59.1. Now from here, we're going to look to, let me just get my bearings here. This is the surrounding area, and we're going to look towards the northwest. We're going to follow this path downwards, and somewhere to the left, we can see that there will be a pillar between some rocks right there. It's a bit hidden, but it is easy to spot if you take your time. And this one will contain another Helena note. I'm going to show you the location on the map as well as the GPS coordinates. So these are the GPS coordinates. They are 34.0 by 56.1. And on the map, I am somewhere around there. Once again, the coordinates for this one. It can be easily missed, although it is kind of out in the open just because of how it's positioned with the rocks. Again, we're going to go from this mountain towards where those eagle nest area were, areas, plural. And so we kind of did this note, basically, if you remember, quite a while ago. And from this one, if we look to the north, we can see this other cliff pillar-like structure right behind it. There is a hidden ruin behind a tree, so there's that mountain right there. There's this eagle's nest right here. There's a green obelisk right there. So these are the landmarks I can show you, and we're looking for that structure right there. There is a waterfall to the right. So just want to show you the brief location that I was in with the GPS out. So this is where we find the next Neura note. And let me put the map up. Right. This is the map. And here are the coordinates. They are 41.1 by 68.0. Now, if we follow the river towards the swamp, we will get to a point where the land to the right has a fallen tree that kind of goes into the Redwood Forest. This patch of land right here, in the middle of it, between the rocks and the trees, we will find a small ruin that contains another Neura note. Alright, so this is where I'm now on the map, and of course I'm going to show you the GPS coordinates. They are 47.8 by 60.8. Get some altitude here, because the next one, or the next couple of notes, can become a bit tricky to find and tricky to explain, really. So as you can see, there's this path between that land that we found the last note on and to the right, which goes into a forest. So what we're looking for here is basically this area right here. You can see that it does go into a cliff, but there's also a ruin, very flat little ruin, difficult to spot and easy to miss. And this one of course contains the Gallimimus Dossier. The good thing is it's not too deep in the forest, so it can be spotted from outside. These are the location on the map and of course the GPS coordinates, and they are 45.6 by 62.3. Right, we're back out here again, and this time around we're gonna go further in with the next. No, this one's actually a bit more difficult to explain, so we're gonna head on north. Slightly to the right of the previous one, basically. I just keep going in north. This one's going to be a bit of a challenge to actually find. So normally I like to rely on the GPS quite a bit. So somewhere around here, we will have a ruin. There we go. As you can see, because it is between the trees, it is easily missed. Like, I even almost barely went past, or nearly went past it myself, and I knew it was here. So this is my location on the map, and the coordinates are 43.6 by 61.0. I think for this one, the GPS itself is the best thing, or the best tool to use. Again, we are at the same location. This time around, we are going to follow the cliff around to get to the next note. So if we keep following the cliff around, it kind of turns into this sort of area. Then we have, it basically slopes into the beach, and then another cliff starts. Right after that cliff starts, there are some rocks, and behind the rocks we find a ruin, and in that ruin we find the Dunkleosis Dossier from Helena. So my location on the map, and of course the GPS coordinates are 43.9 by 55.2. Alright, let's exit this out. We're going to follow the beach all the way around to that cliff that you see in front of us. It's quite a bit of distance to cover here. The cliff kind of goes into the river a bit. Then we just kind of follow the edge until we get to this point right here. So see, you can see it kind of goes back into the river again. So it kind of does like yeah, difficult to explain this terrain. I don't really have good knowledge of like geographical terms, but there's a rock right here, and around the rock there's a nerve note. So this is where I am on the map, and the coordinates are 47.9 by 47.5. Further down this cliff, if we continue, we will come to the next location. So we want to kind of see, it's kind of difficult to explain. If we gain any height, actually, it's kind of raining, so it's a bit difficult. But we have the volcano there, and to the right, there's kind of like a hill. So we have, hold on a bit, it's kind of really difficult to explain because it's now getting foggy. So that's where we were down there. And if we look to the left, there's a bit of a steep hill. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to go to the top of the hill, and we're going to look towards the Redwood Forest. Okay, this is getting really complicated now to explain with the fog, but yeah. So this hill right here, I know you can't see it, but there's a volcano there. And then to the left we have the Redwood Forest. There's another hill here, but it's slightly smaller. We don't want this one. We want this one with the green tree at the top of it. We're going to go towards the south. We're looking for this hump right here. We just follow it downwards into the tree line. It's going to get dark, so we will have to gamma up a bit. So right there, you can see my position on the map. I'm going to gamma up so you guys can see what's going on. So we head in. You can see where the cardinals are. That's basically what or where the next ruin is. I did have to admin kill them, so I will edit that out. And this one is a Helena note, and it is the Erythroid Dossier. I'm going to show you the map location and the GPS coordinates. Note that I would have killed the Carnos with admin commands, so I'll probably cut that out. 44.1 by 49.0 are the coordinates for this particular location. If you know what you're looking for, it's not that complicated. So we're going to exit the forest. We're going to go back to the top of the hill and wait for the rain to go away. That way we don't have any fog to deal with. So this is where we went downwards. If we look back on ourselves, we can see this tree, and right behind the tree there is a fairly flat piece of ruin with another Helena note. This one is the dossier for the compy. I mean, this one's kind of easy to find, but I'll show you the map and GPS coordinates just as well. So this is where I'm at on the map. Coords are 41.1 by 49.2. Now from here, I'm going to get some altitude to show you what's going on here. So that is the volcano right there, the blue obelisk, snow mountain in front, another mountain, and of course we have the Redwood Forest behind us. But if you look towards the mountain, you can see that there's like a little patch of green area right there that's slightly greener. We're going to go for that, and right at the border of that patch there's a tree, and underneath that tree there's a very small ruin, very hard to spot, with of course a new dossier. This one is the I don't even know how to pronounce this fish, so I'm not even going to bother, but yes, this is another Helena note. Okay, let's get rid of the glare. This is where I'm at, and of course the GPS coordinates are 36.9 by 49.8. Now, from this location, we're going to head on to the Redwood Forest. So we're going to go back to where that fallen log was, fallen tree actually, that acted as a bridge. We're going to follow this log bridge, whatever you want to call it. And we go inwards. We're going to head towards the south at the end of this tree. And just keep going in, and we should come across our first ruin. Well, at least first ruin that is here in the Redwood Forest. This one's a fairly decent one in size, so you can see what it looks like. And in the center of this ruin, as you can see, there is another Helena note. I'll just gamma up, of course, so you guys can see a bit better what the surrounding area looks like. I do realize that a lot of you guys will be watching this most likely off of a mobile device. From here, of course, we will find the next one, but here's where I'm at on the Redwood Forest. Coordinates are 52.4 by 58.9. I nearly forgot to put the coordinates out, so that's why I kind of stopped mid-sentence. And of course, from here, we're going to look to the west. So let me just kind of position myself. So there's a mountain in front of us, and of course we also have the river to the right, which we know is there. So we're going to go towards the west, and you can see the river to the right, but if we just follow this path, we will come to another ruin. This one's not that difficult to spot. Of course, I've got the sun glaring, but that's no problem. We'll find it eventually. As I said, it's kind of easy to see when we get there. You can see the ruin. It's kind of small. It is, of course, underneath a redwood tree. So I would probably take this one slow, but this one is a Neura note. And this is where I'm at. And of course, the coordinates are 51.3 by 54.6. And this time around, I know that was an Oviraptor, but this time around I'm actually using the leave me alone command so we don't have any problems with the wildlife here. We're going to head on to the mountain that is in the center of the Redwood Forest, and there's quite a few ruins and notes from here. So let's go to the very top, which is this one right here. You can see that there are some trees, and what we're going to do from here is, you can see that there's a tree right in the center. There's a path that goes downwards. If you follow this path all the way down to this location right here, where the path kind of splits up in a way. So it goes to the left, and there's also a path that goes to the right. Right in the center, right there in the grass, is a jar that contains, of course, another Neura note. And of course, I'm going to show you the map without glare, hopefully. And the coordinates are 56.2 by 51.0. I'm going to head back to the top of the mountain. We're going to use that as a reference point. And we're going to look to the north. We're going to follow the mountain to the north, down this hill. So just kind of show you the GPS. And to the right slightly, we can see that there is another ruin. It's quite large. So right there, and the area between the rocks, we have the ruin. So I'm just showing you the surrounding area. There is right there. I mean, this one is a fairly big ruin anyways. So if you I'm just going to kind of redo this to show you. So we have this tree at the top. We're going to go northwards, go down the mountain. So we are heading north. And then right here, slightly to the right, we can see the ruin. I just wanted to redo that again because I was looking all over the place and some of you might have missed it, but I already knew where it was. And this one is, of course, another Neura note. So quite a few Neura notes in this particular region of the map. So this is where I'm at. I'm facing basically the mountain area that we checked out previously. The coordinates are 52.4 by 49.0. Again, I'm going to go back to the top of the mountain and use that as a reference point for the next note. So I'm right here, and if we kind of go down this path again, and this time we follow it to the right. We just keep going where the path takes us. We come to this particular rock right here. It's a really weird looking rock, so it's kind of distinguishable. But if we go around the rock right here, there is another ruin. And this time around, we have a Rockwell Explorer note. So this is where I'm at right now. And the GPS coordinates are 58.5 by 48.9. So that's where we had the last Explorer note right there. And so that is, again, top of the mountain. We're going to go to this end right here. And we can see the volcano to the right. We are going to basically follow this river around. And we will come to another note eventually. But you can see right there. So we got the volcano there. We got this... So we got the Redwood Forest kind of coming down. We can see this little cliff right here. We can see some rocks at the base of the cliff. And in between them rocks, we have a ruin which contains another Helena note. This one is the Neura Dossier. So I'm right here as far as the map goes. And the GPS coordinates are 54.3 by 41.4. Now we're going to get some altitude. We're going to go all the way to the other side of the Redwood Forest. This is the swamp right here. And let me just kind of look for my little point of reference. You can see that this cliff right there. This is what we're looking for. So this weird cliff structure. This is what we're going to use as a reference point. Behind us we have the swamp and... like a little island. It's, I think, footpaw or something like that, or paw something. I don't know what it's called, but it's something like that. But right underneath that cliff, there is a pillar, and of course, next to the pillar, we have the Pachyrhinosaurus Dossier. And I'm right here on the map. And 65.4 by 40.7 are the coordinates. We're going to go back towards the swamp and gonna go all the way around this time. We're going to follow the swamp basically with the Redwood Forest to our right. So that is the red obelisk there. Around this location, if we go into the forest, we'll see another fallen tree right there. This is what we're looking for. So if we follow the tree in the direction that it's fallen towards the north, we'll come to the next ruin. This one's kind of tiny, but yeah, this is what I'm using for reference point when I am looking for these notes. Again, another dossier from Helena, and the coordinates for this one are 65.0 by 31.4. We're going to follow the beach. We come to this cliff right there. We keep going, and if we look to the right past, I'd say, like around this area right here, you can kind of see that the beach kind of goes into the Redwood Forest. It's kind of, or the sand from the beach kind of go into the Redwood Forest. That's what we're looking for. And to our left, if we go up this sandy path, we see a small pillar, and behind it, of course, a jar containing a Neura note. This time around, I'm right here on the land with, or landmass with the Redwood Forest. Coordinates are 57.8 by 32.1. Now, I'm going to go back on myself. I'm going to follow the edge of the Redwood Forest, and we're going to keep an eye out for a waterfall, and it's this one right here. This is what we're looking for as far as landmarks go. Behind us is that cliff area from the island that was behind us before, and of course the red obelisk. So we just follow the river, and that brings us to this pretty big structure. I think it's probably the biggest here on the map in terms of how big the ruins are. I think this is the biggest ruin. And if we go up these steps, we get another dossier from, or another note from Rockwell. I'm going to show you the coordinates for this as well, but I want to show you the island, or the structure. So we're just going to go around it, because not far from it there is this structure right here. It's two archways. So the second archway, right smack bang in the middle, we have a Helena note, and this one is the Erythroid Dossier. So I'll show you the coordinates for this one, and then we'll go around and show the coordinates for the other one, just to be on the safe side. I mean, they're kind of, I'd say, part of the same ruin, but anyways, I'll just do it just because. So the coordinates for this one are 63.5 by 33.3. Let's go back to the previous note, which is right here, and I'll show you the coordinates for this one as well as a map location. So it's right there, the map location, which is kind of glary right there, and the GPS coordinates are 64.5 by 34.1. So far, this is what you should have if you have been following these videos. I mean, there is still quite a lot to discover as far as the dossiers and explorer notes go. We do have quite a few of the Rockwell notes. Still a lot of the Mayan, the notes that we need to find, and the Nerva ones, I'd say we have quite a few. Alright, so we are at the red obelisk now. We are going to crack on with another handful of notes from the terminal here at the red obelisk. This is where it's at, if you don't know. So we're going to go to the beach to the east, of course, and we come to this waterfall. This should be fairly well known. Anyways, we're going to follow the waterfall upwards, and we get to another waterfall. We're just going to go around this cliff on the left, and basically the waterfall's right there. You can see that there is another note. This is the Pachyrhinosaurus Dossier from Helena. So this is note number 1. There's actually quite a few notes in this particular region that I want to show and cover. So the location on the map is right here, and the GPS coordinates are 77.6 by 20.6. So this is where we're at. We're basically going to follow this path up, and as you can see, past that waterfall, so second waterfall, we have two little islands in the middle of the river. There's a big one and a small one. We're going to go to the small one. It has two trees, and behind the trees, and somewhere here between the tree and the rock, we have another note from Helena. This one is the Megatherium, and of course it is the Megatherium Dossier. So this is where I'm at on the map. GPS coordinates are 75.0 by 21.3. Now from this, we're going to go to the other side here, and we're going to basically go into the forest. So we're going to head northeast. Actually, yeah, northeast is what we want to do. And we come to this structure right here, or this layout of rocks. This is what we're looking for. We can see the swamp there. We can see some rocks around. You can already see the ruin. But basically, what we're looking for is like a circle of rocks, if that makes sense. And right here is the next dossier. And this one is the Uterus Dossier from Helena. Alright, let's reposition here because there's too much glare. So this is where I'm at on the map. And the coordinates are 73.9 by 23.5. So we're now going to head back towards that river right there. You can see that is that island right there, that where we started. There's that cliff that was in the first video. So we want to be right here. It's basically like a Y shape. We want to be where all 3 points of this river meet. We're going to look towards the mainland, and of course we can see there's a cliff right there and some rocks before the cliff. Again, in between the cliff and the rocks, we have a ruin with another dossier. This one is the Sabretooth Dossier. Right, let me reposition. This is where I'm at on the map. And the coordinates are 77.1 by 26.0. Alright, we're going to get some height from this one. We're going to follow the beach downwards. And again, we come to another cliffy area with some rocks. So this is what it looks like. But this time around, we're going to go around it. We're going to climb up to the top so you can see it kind of slopes down. And basically at the top of that cliff, there is the Castroidis Dossier that you can find. I'm going to show you the coordinates as well as the map location in a brief second. So let me get these out. This is the map. And here are the coordinates. They are 78.2 by 23.5. Once again, we are back at the red obelisk, and we're going to use this as a point of reference. You can see that if you look from the south, there's two pillars, or two pillar cliff-like structures. We're going to go right in between them and just keep heading northwest, basically. And we'll come to this ruin right here. There's also a bridge that you can use. So basically just line yourself up with the bridge between the two pillars and follow that in a straight line. It'll bring you to this particular ruin right here. Location on the map, the coordinates are 77.4 by 16.3. So from this ruin, the next one is a bit of a challenge to find and also a bit difficult to explain. So that's where we came from. We're going to kind of go towards this little mountain, I guess you can call it. If we look towards the red obelisk, you can see that it's almost like a Y shape, if that makes sense. We're going to go to this little hump right here. Very subtle. And this one is actually kind of difficult to find. It took me a couple of attempts just to get it right in one go. So from that hump, we're just going to go to the south into the forest. Take your time here because this one is kind of hidden. For some odd reason, I kept struggling to find it myself. Although I knew it was here, but I just kept missing it by quite a bit. It is quite well camouflaged, so this is what the surrounding area looks like. Remember, we're heading south. I don't know if you saw it, but it is actually quite a flat piece of ruin. I did look at it for a while there. It's right there. But yeah, you kind of want to come down this hill in this direction. And right here is the ruin that contains the Neura note. So just kind of get some height here. So basically we're just following the mountain down this way. So it's kind of this clearing right here that we're looking for. And yeah, it's one of those really difficult ones. I actually quite often struggle to find it because of how the ruin is placed. It's actually right underneath the trees, so very difficult to spot. So this is where I'm at on the map. And the GPS coordinates are 73.8 by 17.6. Now, we're going to go and get a couple of more of these notes. So that is the red obelisk there. There's that river right here. You can see that the river turns into the swamp. And it just, becomes a swamp. But around this area right here, we can see quite a few rocks. We're just going to go around the side, basically on, I don't know, the sand, if you want to call it that, and just kind of head into the forest. So around this way, we'll see a ruin. We're kind of heading, I'd say, northwest with west kind of direction. It's right there, the ruin. It's easily missed because it is quite small. And there's a lot of trees, so you won't see it from the sky. So you'll have to come to the ground to actually spot it. I nearly missed it myself there, but this is what we find. And of course, this is my location here on the map. and the coordinates are 69.4 by 24.8. So this one is basically towards the edge of the swamp. And that is it for this episode, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button and leaving a comment. It really does help out quite a bit, as these episodes take quite a while to put together. Until next time, stay safe, folks.